As far as all the media here, we really appreciate you. This business doesn't exist without you, so thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to support Jake. Go ahead.
Jake over here. You've obviously long admired Anderson Silva, and you said yourself you were going to win this fight all week. But now that it is a reality, what are the emotions now that you've defeated one of your childhood heroes?
It's surreal. I don't think it'll hit me until like a couple weeks from now. I feel like I'm living in a movie. You know, he was the one that told me I could accomplish anything if I set my mind to it. You couldn't have written this in a story. It feels like a movie. And just being in the ring with him, seeing his heart, you know, his courage, his bravery. That's the champion that I looked up to, and he's such an inspiration. And you know, I had to go in there and match his heart tonight, a heart that I saw through the TV screen when I was a kid. So it just surreal and doesn't make any sense, to be honest.
And that punch that dropped him, you said after when you knocked out Tyron Woodley, you saw him, you're trying to catch that punch, and then you came over the top and dropped him. So when you did drop Anderson, was that an opening you knew you could take advantage of in there? I
mean, we were throwing shots all night, and that one just caught him off guard when he was coming up. So really, like, we were just throwing, and he was taking harder shots than that. That wasn't even the hardest punch of the night. It was obviously just the timing. I was just surprised by his toughness because I was dropping sparring partners all camp with those shots to the body and shots to the head. He's built different. You know, the guy's fought through broken bones and all sorts of stuff. So to beat someone like that, you got to dig deep, and that's what I did tonight.
Hey Jake, Penny Buffington from MMA Fight Coverage. I'm trying to come up with the words to express how impressed I am with you. Absolutely amazing what you have done coming from the YouTube days, and now we're on Showtime Sports. The whole entire event is because of you, Jake Paul, and I'm beyond impressed with that. I'm kind of picturing what it's like for you to choose your next opponent. It's like the Jake Paul lottery. Who's going to win next? Who gets to fight you? Are you bombarded with requests to fight? And how do you handle that? How do you go through that list of...
Yeah, look, I think this fight did two things. It'll make a much higher level people want to fight me, and it'll make the ones who are already scared, you know, like we saw earlier this year, they're not going to want to fight me. So we'll see. That, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of names. I haven't even gone on Twitter yet to look at everything and all the call-outs, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot. And it's back to the drawing board, and we'll see who it is. But, you know, Nate Diaz was here acting like a bitch. Everyone wants that fight. He tried to fight people in the hallway. You know, Nate, stop fighting people for free. Let's do it in the ring, okay? I know you're a little slow, buddy, but it's okay. We can make that fight happen. And you too, Canelo. You're getting old. You looked weird against Triple G. I still want that fight as well. And I think now, like I said it 18 months ago, I want Canelo. And then I was sitting in a room just like this, and everyone was like, oh, fucking idiot. And then now, 18 months later, here we are. And when I say that, maybe people are taking it a little bit more seriously now, and I still mean it, and I still want that fight.
Are you the one that strictly makes those decisions? Are you the one that's actually powering through those requests and choosing? Do you actually have someone in your mind that you kind of want and you go for, or do you go through those requests? And
all of the above, and it just, you know, who makes sense at the right time and who actually wants to do it and who will actually show up and be a professional and make weight. But it is who I want, you know. Even people on my team, my coaches and stuff, were like, well, are you sure you want Anderson? Are you sure? And I was like, yes, I can do this.
Okay, well, I know that Joe Riggs has been calling you out. Is he someone that you've considered?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
I was afraid you were going to say that, which I find kind of funny, because anyone who knows Anderson Silva definitely knows who Joe Riggs is, and he's local. So, I mean, I just think that would be a perfect matchup for you, and I hope it's something that you'll consider.
Thank you.
Jacob, right over here. Jake, right over here. Congrats on the win tonight, man. You mentioned Nate Diaz, and we've seen video already of this incident. It seemed like he slapped a member of your team. It's hard to tell. Can you elaborate on what happened?
I haven't seen the video, and I didn't really know what happened. I just know there was an altercation with my team.
Jake wasn't even aware of the
Yeah.
altercation before the fight.
Yeah, I was focused on what was going on, but I was made aware of it afterwards, and it's typical of him. That's what he likes to do. He's a street gangster. He likes to act tough, and he's really not. Like, why are you trying to beat someone up in a hallway, bro?
I mean, speaking of the MMA community, you and the MMA community have a very interesting relationship, over these last few years. You just beat a genuine legend of the sport, probably one of the greatest fighters of all time. Like, how do you feel like, is this the win, do you think, that will get you the respect of that community?
I think it has to. I want to watch the fight back, but, people were just saying it was a really good fight, a brawl, a war, awesome back and forth. And so I think people will respect my game. I showed different parts of my arsenal, defense, all of that, fighting on the inside with a legend who's really good at fighting on the inside. I think this fight definitely has to gain me some respect, and I'm only 2.5 years in, so this is just the start. I'm just getting warmed up with what I can accomplish, and this is the first fight in my career where I felt comfortable in the ring, right? And just think about it. No one 5 fights in is fighting 8-round fights. No one. They build them up 4 rounds, 6 rounds. I mean, Tommy Fury is still fighting 6-round fights, right? And he grew up his whole entire life doing this sport, right? And his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. My brother and I are fucking from YouTube. So I'm doing something that no one's ever done before, and I'm just learning my bearings in the ring. But we'll see what happens after this.
But I want to add, he loves the MMA community, right? He loves MMA fighters. He loves trying to be a spokesperson for the sport and bringing it along with himself. Of course, he's honest. He wears his thoughts on his sleeve, and he'll attack someone if he sees something that he doesn't agree with. But make no mistake, Jake Paul is a huge fan of MMA.
I was a fan of MMA before boxing. Yeah, and so, and guys like Anderson Silva. So, oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I just took a shower. Sorry, buddy.
My God.
Good job.
Thank you, man.
Jake, Keith Heidig from BoxingScene.com. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As the rounds were unfolding, particularly in the second half of the fight, how close of a fight did you feel it was, and what did you think the scorecards would read, particularly after you got the knockdown in the 8th round?
I thought it was 6 rounds to 2, which is what I think pretty much the judges had it scored as. My coaches were telling me in the corner, like, hey, you got that round. You didn't get that round. So, yeah, I mean, it was tough all the way throughout, a couple close rounds. And I knew I just had to keep on working and working and working. But after I got the knockdown, yeah, and I knew that I had it in the bag.
Hey Jake, Ben Davis from MMA Island. Congrats on the win. Deji expressed how impressed he was with your skills. No interest in KSI at this time?
Man, bro, he won't fight me, especially after this fight. Guy needs to keep on playing FIFA and making shitty rap music. I don't really know what the guy does. He's fighting bums, trash cans. I'm trying to become a world champion. And he's just like, I don't know what the fuck that kid's doing.
Jake, right here, over here, Chris. Do you feel like this fight? I asked you this before, but with Anderson's age and him being in the 3rd fight since he retired, I know you mentioned it in the ring, but do you feel like this is moving you closer to that boxing legitimacy? And you say you feel like a world champion. Do you think this fight moves you closer to getting to that point confidently?
For sure. When you get 8 hard rounds with a legend like Anderson Silva, it's just really good experience under the belt, right? And he just beat a former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He beat him 8 rounds to 0. So he schooled the former world champion. So this definitely moves me in that direction. And this guy is insanely tough, insanely tough. So it's just great experience under my belt. And like I said, it's only been 2.5 years. So, who knows what I can accomplish. I know, but I'll show you guys.
Jake, two more for Jake, and then we'll let Anderson have the floor.
Jake, right here. Andreas from Sport News. The MMA community may love you, but do you have a message for Dana White? Because he was very critical of you taking this particular fight with Anderson Silva.
Dana? Bro, you said I wouldn't do this, and I did it, and with flying colors. But, he's in hiding. He's trying to do everything he can to stop my run, to sabotage my fights. He hates me. He hates me. He hates what I'm doing. He hates I'm exposing his business. And now, we're going to band together and create a United Fighters Association to help UFC fighters, all MMA fighters, and boxers to get more fighter pay, long-term health care. And that's a big, big undertaking that I've been wanting to do for the whole entire time of my career since I met Nikisa. I said it to him on the first day. I want to make a fighters union. So, man, Dana White can suck this dick.
Jake, sorry, Jake, Michelle Joy Phelps with Behind the Gloves, right back here, sorry. When you first started, obviously you started fighting other YouTubers. They still seem to be looming, as in like wanting to still call you out. There have been various names that have been mentioned, even from yourself. But as you're trying to edge towards, like you said, being a world champion, is that sort of becoming further and further away from you in making those type of fights as opposed to continuing to fight other combat fighters?
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think any of the influencers will fight me or want to fight me. I've said that since, a year ago, but especially now. And, if someone makes sense, like a big name in the space, then maybe we can do something. But I want to fight big names. I want to fight boxers. I want to fight anyone who's going to give me a challenge where fans will be like, I don't know who's going to win this fight. Those are the fights I like to make, and that was exactly what we did here. I think the fight could have gone either way. There was ways where he could win, and there's ways where I could win.
Hey Jake, right over here. Yep. I just have to ask because your brother was here, Logan. What did he tell you, and what are you going to tell him for his Roman Reigns WWE fight? Did you inspire each other from tonight?
Yeah, man, he gave me a speech in the locker room. I love that man so much, and he just put it all in perspective as to what we are accomplishing together. And it's so amazing to have a partner in crime. The kid's a genius. He's such a kind person. I look up to him. He makes me a better person. He inspires me every day. And I can't believe next weekend he's going to take on another massive, massive name in combat sports in the WWE Championship. It's surreal what we're building. I think we might be the new Kardashians. Hey, but who's going to... Never mind.
Jake.
I got respect for him.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, let's get a hug together.
Good job.
All right.
It was turn.
Questions for Anderson, guys? Go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm from Brazil. I'm going to ask Anderson in Portuguese. Anderson, back here.
Cadê você?
Here, aqui.
Onde?
Direito, aqui.
Tá, tô te vendo. Fala comigo.
Anderson, primeiro de tudo, eu queria que você falasse um pouco sobre essa experiência, né? 47 anos ainda se testando no ringue. Deu para ver que você fez de tudo um pouco lá dentro hoje. Como é que você se sentiu e o que você achou assim do combate?
Assim, guys, I go speak in Portuguese first, alright? Is okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, eu acho que eu treinei muito para essa luta e todo mundo conhece o meu jeito de lutar, mas eu não sei, eu acho que eu falhei na estratégia, né? Eu até estava conversando com os meus treinadores no quarto agora, e eu não entendi. Realmente, eu mesmo tô chocado de não ter feito tudo que eu treinei durante todo o treinamento, durante todo o camp. Eu acho que falhei ali, não estava achando a distância, mas não é desculpa, né? O Jake foi bem melhor do que eu, não tem desculpa da idade, até porque eu lutei todos os rounds bem, não senti o gás em nenhum momento, e ele foi melhor, né? Estrategicamente ele foi melhor, conseguiu impor o jogo dele melhor do que o meu e venceu. So, I just try to speak in English now. So, the Jake is better than me today because I try to put in my game inside and my whole strategy, and that's I talk to my coach in the room. You know, I don't found my distance and I fail in my strategy, and Jake's better than me today. That's it.
E agora, o futuro, assim, como você se vê? O que você quer fazer? Porque você é um cara que é super inquieto, a gente sabe que você vai...
não consigo parar não, filha. Não dá. I can't stop. You ask me about you stop or not, I can't stop.
Então a gente pode te ver no ringue ainda.
Com certeza. Yes, for sure.
Anderson, actually, I mean, when you look at the punch stats, you landed more power punches on him. It seemed as if, you know, from watching the fight, for some of us anyway, that you were outboxing him. Did you feel like the scorecards were favoring you as you went into that final round, honestly?
Wow, you know, I failed in the strategy, you know, in the last round, the Jake take the good punch, you know, and my base is not correct, you know, that's my coach say, my base is not correct, and that's I take the punch. But I don't feel knockout, I don't feel power, but I'm not in good balance, and that's I take the punch. Of course, I have more experience, and I doing this a lot, and this is happening with me again, one more time, you know. The last time it happened to me when I fight with, I forgot the name, the guy in UFC. No, yeah, Ryan Hall, yeah, Ryan. I fell 2 times in that situation, you know, and that time I just talked to my coach, I don't believe it, because I training hard for don't do the same stupid position, you know, but I'm human. I'm superhero, but sometimes my half human fail. Yeah.
And Jake talked you into joining him in this bet of, you know, trying to fight, create a UFC union, so to speak.
That's the truth.
How committed to that are you?
It's not if UFC unit. It's a unit for help and doing something better for MMA fighters, you know. And I think Jake and I can do something huge for help this new generation, you know.
Anderson,
Oi.
aqui.
Cadê você? Eu tô
Aqui
te
do lado
vendo,
da
fala
Evelyn aqui.
comigo.
Tudo bom?
Tô, bem.
Duas
Eu
perguntas.
não tô bem, né, cara? Perdi, porra. Tá, mas fala.
Duas perguntas rápidas. Eu sei que você acabou de lutar e é talvez cedo para isso, mas uma revanche faz parte dos seus planos? Te interessa? Te interessaria?
Cara, eu costumo falar o seguinte, né? Quando você perde, você tem que entender que você perdeu. Você tem que ver no que você errou, tentar melhorar e não ficar achando desculpa, né, cara? O cara foi melhor do que eu, não tem nada a ver com a minha idade, não tem nada a ver com absolutamente nada de errado com a técnica, e sim com a estratégia que eu fiz. Mas eu não tenho essa coisa de, revanche e etc, entendeu? Eu acho que se tiver que acontecer, vai acontecer. Eu acho que tem que dar os méritos para ele. Ele foi melhor do que eu e a gente tem que ver o que vai acontecer. E talvez aconteça, talvez não, mas eu tô tranquilo, sabe? Eu tô bem tranquilo. A única coisa que está me corroendo é realmente eu ter errado na estratégia que eu treinei com os meus coaches, né? Então, isso tá me consumindo um pouquinho aqui. Tipo, porra, caraca, é muito burro, cara. Como é que você faz um negócio desse de novo? Mas é isso, a gente é humano e às vezes não é teu dia e você erra e é assim mesmo. Eu tenho muita experiência nesse esporte de combate. Já perdi muitas vezes. Perdi em momentos que eu não podia perder. Ganhei em momentos que eram importantes eu ganhar. E assim, cara, a vida que segue. Vamos embora, vamos para cima, para o próximo desafio.
Maravilha. Ela te perguntou sobre o seu futuro. Eu queria te perguntar, duas coisas sobre o futuro, na verdade, primeiro do Jake Paul, até onde você acha que ele pode chegar com as habilidades dele no boxe e até onde esse modelo de negócio, de celebridades lutando, youtubers lutando, até onde esse modelo de negócio pode ir?
Cara, eu acredito que é um modelo de negócio fantástico, né? Eu tenho uma visão seguinte, eu acho que o próximo passo para esse modelo de negócio do novo normal é agora os bilionários começarem a se enfrentar. Eu tenho certeza que isso vai acontecer num futuro próximo. Cara, assim, o céu é o limite, né, cara? O céu é o limite. Eu acho que muitas pessoas falaram muito dele, né, e continuam falando porque ele está incomodando todo mundo, né, cara? Então, assim, as pessoas podem falar, mas o problema de você falar muito é você não ter a coragem de fazer o que ele está fazendo, é ter a coragem de vir aqui lutar, de treinar, de perder peso e vir aqui se dedicar e fazer show para todo mundo, né, cara? Então, assim, não tem o que falar, né? As pessoas falam e tal. É lógico que quando você tem um sonho, você corre atrás do seu sonho e você vai cutucando todo mundo para você chegar no teu sonho. Uma hora você chega onde você deseja, e é o que ele está fazendo. Eu espero que ele chegue onde ele quer.
Hey Anderson, Ben Davis from MMA Island. Even with that knockdown in round number 8, were you confident you had done enough when it went to the scorecards?
Wow, I just try to follow the orders of my coach, and I talked to my coach in the room. I say, I don't believe I take knockout in the last round. That's stupid. I fell in the strategy, and that's I feel, and that's I talk to my coach. I failed my mission, and I back to home, training better, and try to make the strategy correct in the next time, That's
Marcus Hayes
Anderson
right here.
Anderson O'Hare, back here.
Right you.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, all right.
You spoke in Portuguese. I couldn't understand exactly everything, but when asked about a potential rematch with Jake Paul, it was a very, very competitive fight. Some people thought you were winning before the 8th round. Is a rematch something that interests you? Is that something that you'd be open for?
The rematch, I respond to the Brazilian guy now. I think it's very important that people respect the moment, the Jake's moment now. I'm Black Samurai, I know I lost. I know I failed in my whole strategy, and my opponent win, and I need to respect that. I'm not the same the other guys fight with Jake, I need revenge, I need rematch. I don't know. Let's go see what happened, and maybe, I don't know.
And you mentioned inside of the ring that you're absolutely going to continue. There's no doubt about that. So what is next for you? If you can, I know we're just fresh off the fight, but if you can look in the future, what do you think is next? What things do you want to get accomplished before you?
Wow, my next challenge for myself is I go to the Jiu-Jitsu tournament in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, and we'll see. I just go back home and start. I go to visit my parents in Brazil, and I go start training with my coach, Ricardo de la Riva, and I go to Dubai for continue my training with Ramon Lemos, and training to the new tournament in Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Anderson, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.